Good afternoon everyone, hello and welcome to OTL Racing here on Twitch for the final round of our British GT Team Championship. As you can see, we're coming to you from a nice and damp Donington Park. It's, yeah, it can't be British GT without a nice damp circuit. Wouldn't want too much grip, would we? That would make it just a bit too easy. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Matt, as many of you are probably already aware. And yeah, I'll be commentating on this afternoon's race for you. So this is the only race of the 6 I've made this season. Obviously, Mr. Jimenez has been able to stream a lot of them for us, which has been awesome. Very, very kind of him. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my dipping my toes in the water of this championship. Just to 2 hours, with obviously 2 drivers per team. Be interesting to see what kind of circuit they get, especially if it's greasy. You know, quite a few prefer it to just be wet or dry. You get that kind of in-betweeny kind of conditions, then they are not a fan, but we will have to see. They'll have to make do with what they get. So I'm board with Samir Foch at the moment of the Big Influencers team. So I did start the championship with George Boothby, but has got another driver in the hot seat with him tonight. So they're actually only 1 point behind the leaders of the pro category, but I don't believe the pro category leaders are here. So I don't believe they made the previous race either. From what I can see, none of them have made it this week. So just the 19 teams with us this time round. But should still see some decent racing, I hope. So you can see 20-minute qualifying. They've got just under 14 minutes left to go. In the race will start around 3:30 UK time. And we have 2 hours, so two stints per team, so 1 stint per driver. See what they can do. Yellow flag out for a couple of teams who have returned to the pits after they finished their lap. Hopefully they pulled away from the circuit when they did so. Benjamin Harman sets a solid time, but there we go. Samir Foch improves to a 29.760, just a half a tenth quicker. Martin Lawrence into 3rd spot as well, 3.5 tenths or so back. Let's go on board with, let's pick another, let's go on board with Alex Wood. Oh, got to be careful there, can't be touching that car, otherwise, yeah, you can't be inflicting pain on another car that's on a quality lap. You've got to get out of the way. If he starts making moves to try and get past, then yeah, to be honest, he's pushing it way too fine there, needs to be pulling further away. Can't be flashing his lights, that's tough for him. Should know better than that. If the car in front of him is on a valid lap and is kept going because it might be on a better lap for itself, you don't start just you don't pressure it like that. You don't start harassing it and looking like you're dive bombing. That's poor form. So hopefully you'll do better next time. Car at the end of the pits, I think, letting the car go on the straights, or is it just sat there? Oh, that's a bit weird. Car number 42. That's Markley. Not quite sure what he's doing there. Has he moved? He has. Dominic in that. That's just over 3/4 of a second back at the moment. See Samir Foch, we know just how quick he is. Harman as well. Both very quick drivers. Squibble with the Bentley of Stravinsky. Melbourne and Hamilton. We see some inventive team names. Let's just name it after the two people in the car. Saves you a lot of effort. That. So up into 6th. Ian Hall, who takes part in a lot of our stuff, and yeah, it's getting quicker and quicker by the race. I swear to God, is getting properly quick. Fascinating to see where he could be in, you know, just a few more months' time. Could be really putting some pressure on the really quick guys at the front. 1.6 second back at the moment, but yeah, Foch and Harmon very, very quick drivers. Lawrence pretty rapid as well. The RCI CLR 404 car. There's a few tenths up as well, so might be in with a chance here of troubling the top 2 teams. Very close. So it's not everyone's favourite circuit is Donington, but it's certainly a challenge, especially in these kind of conditions. Someone using all of the gravel then on the outside of the old hairpin. Especially in these conditions, you have to really be careful just how fast you're going down into the old hairpin through the Craner curves. Easy to keep your foot planted, not quite get your entry angle right, and it will go a bit peak tongue very, very fast. Well, looks like someone dropped out of the service, dropped back in now. Fair play to Lawrence, I think it was on a semi-decent lap, but has realised he's in behind that car in front. And has done the right thing. That might even be one of the front runners. Don't think it's Foch. Now he's a bit further back. Evening, afternoon, I keep saying evening, just it's weird when I stream earlier. Christian, good evening. Yeah, still some close battles near the top in all the classes. It's interesting to see who's obviously made it this week. Is going to be the most important thing. The team that was that's leading the AM drivers, so that's United Racing in the McLaren. That's car number what was it? Car number 87. They're here this week, they are. So that's the car in 11th at the moment. Everyone on SimGrid using funky names that are already on cross at the moment. So the French driver, they just need a decent result, and they'll be pretty chuffed with their championship. A couple of class wins and a second place at Snetterton. Not the best of races for them at Brands and Alton Park. But I think they're happy overall with how they're going. Arrive and Drive Racing, that's Alex Wood's team though, up in 5th at the moment. So Alex Wood, we've seen, has been pretty good in our rookie league. Scott Spinson, yeah, that still makes me chuckle. Down in 17th at the moment, but yeah, that's a man. We know what his raw pace is like, but the time to be able to practice like he used to, not really there. So fingers crossed he'll have a good race overall. So yes, the number 4 car, 9 points back from the number 87 that we're on board with at the moment. So just a decent result for Wood. It will all depend on where this McLaren can finish. Could be quite close between the two of them though. In the silver class, not all that many that have been able to make it this week. Car number 46 though, X-Car Esports. If I'm correct, I think that was the Peter Greaves team. I'm not sure they're able to make it this week, but they are actually the class winners anyways. They've got an unsurmountable lead in the silvers. And then up in the pros, I said it's just the 1 point between Fosh's team and the Pirate Racing team, the number 22, but they aren't here. So they are going to not... Yeah, they won the first 4 races and then either went, oh sorry, it's too easy, and quit out. Or there's a better reason. Who knows? I'm going to naively assume the first and then find out second there's a really good reason why, but it's, yeah, it's going to be the... It's a 1 point battle. Would have been really interesting if they could have made it this week, but these two teams have been run away at the top. So Fosh, this Ferrari, I think he'll be pretty happy with how his championship's gone. He's with Hubert Zamansky this week. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares in pace compared to Mr. Fosh. So Phil Roberts then, second in the silver class at the moment, a couple of tenths back from Ian Hall's time. Just 4 minutes to go as well, and using all of the runoff. Whether that's a valid lap, it's some brown overalls, I can tell you that for nothing. Orion Cross moving up into 8th, so just a couple of positions behind Alex Wood. We've got Vyacheslav Volodya in the 97. Nice red and black outfit there in the AMG. Beautiful looking thing. Oh, interesting. Okay. We'll go and watch that as they plough it into a wall in a second. It's going to be gripping and very death. Lots of death. With a side plate full of death. Are they out on the... No, okay, so this is going to be... I mean, it's greasy, the rain is reducing. I suppose what they want to know is at what point, which is clever enough, you're going to do it now. How quickly, with 19 cars, is it going to grip up? You know, you want to... Especially if you get the weather plane silly buggers in and around the pit window. What was it, pit window? You know, the time when everyone's going to pop it in and swap drivers might just tempt you to come in a couple of laps earlier or a couple of laps later. Either way, going to be interesting. So Harman and Foch so close between those two teams. Ferrari and Porsche. It's always nice to see a mix of manufacturers as well. Top 5 all different. Ferrari, Porsche, BMW, Aston Martin, and then the Bentley. AMG in 7th, McLaren in 8th. So there's not many repeats in the top 8. No one really improving on the time at the moment, apart from Mr. Scott Vincent, or Vincent, I suppose I should call him. But a good few tenths up on his time at the moment would move him up to maybe 13th or 14th. Only halfway around his lap at the moment, so maybe it is gripping up a bit as well. But as I said, you're not really seeing anyone properly improving as of yet. Quite a few cars on outlap, so going for one last one at the end of the session. So yeah, even with 19 cars, you'd be surprised how little space people are able to find themselves. It's a bit mad, really, but you could have it. Oh, there off goes the Bentley. Never mind. That'll be them done for quali. We'll see that one in the pits very, very soon. There we go. Savinsky that was then. If they're on slicks, it's clearly doable. Not quite there though at the moment. Some teams popping it into the pits now. They're deciding they're done. Jamie Shaw as well, down in 18th. Harman and Foch on their last laps. Harman just started his. Martin Lawrence as well, only 1.5 tenths back. I don't know if he's going to be able to push. I said, no, I'm really improving. Ian Hall early on in the lap is about a tenth up. Stephen Muckley in 17th is a good old time up. There we go. Yeah, up into a 13th place. Nearly puts it ahead of 12th and 11th. Would have been very, very close. But going about 6 tenths there on that lap. So it's a good lap from And from Steve in the McLaren. So might as well go hard at this point then. It all depends on what their current best lap was like. If he knows that he didn't have a great chicane, so the Fogarty ESs, and then come through the Melbourne hairpin around to the final corner at Goddard, if you know you can improve that, and on that lap it wasn't great, then you know there's room for improvement. But I'm not sure that's the case, to be honest. I'll be surprised if they gain any. He's about a tenth down at the moment. Same for Harmon. It's about a tenth or two down on their best time, so it could stay roughly as it is now. Ian Hall's done up into fourth. He'll be very happy with that. What an end to the quali session for him. So did not improve by much there, but it's so close in around that fourth back to seventh or eighth. You don't need to improve by much. So no one really improving then at the top. Right, to cross the line, pretty much as a token gesture, and leave it at that. So everyone pretty much done. The only thing that is on circuit, but a couple of tenths down, so again unlikely to improve. Lodger, oh that's somewhat a poor start to that, and yeah, you'll leave it there. So pretty, going to be done as well, and there we go then. So Foch, not much between them. They were close all throughout that session, just a couple of hundredths between the two of them. Ferrari leading that Porsche on the front roller grid, BMW and Aston Martin in behind Ian Hall up to fourth. He'll be very happy with that. As I said, it's shown incredible pace really and improvement in the last, well, just a few months. So he's been doing a lot of races and events of OTL now for a year and a half, 2 years maybe. I'm not sure. Time flies really when you're having fun. And was in our amateur class for quite a while. I think he won that event eventually, and then it's just the consistency with his pace is they've just met so nicely, and he's pushing so much further forward. And just say fair play to him, up into fourth place. So him today with Haskell. So that team can't win their class, but could still push up a bit. It's quite close between second, third, and fourth. About 10 points between the three of them. And are they all here? 27 is here. No, it's just the 27. So I think they might be in the money here. Might do quite well. Today, afternoon, Mr. Legg. Good luck. Are you able to race? I'm assuming. Then you're going to sort of. I was going to say grit your teeth, but don't do that. That'll make things worse. But yes, be nice. Be nice, Sharpie. Be nice. That did not take long to type either. That was quick. That reply was almost too fast. So there we then go then. To the grid, 5 minutes to get their thing sorted. Hello, Mr. Reese. How do? How are you doing, sir? So yes, just under 5 minutes. Get their setup sorted. Work out what they're doing. You can see it is a dry track. Look at that. No rain. So first half an hour looks like it's going to be dry. And it's a dry circuit, so everyone's be like, ah, crap, we assumed it might rain here, better sort this out quickly. So maybe a few quickly scrambling a little bit just to get things sorted, get your pressures right, just change your basics. Yes. Very kind. Oh, it's cool. Can you? Oh, that's what's. Oh, time. Ah, that's cool. You can do custom timeouts. Oh, interesting. That's right, Acton. No worries, mate. Hope you're all right. Hope things are okay. So it should be in for a decent racing today. So just 2 hours. No, it's not necessarily a sprint. I'm racing tonight in a race that's just a solo race, and it's 2 hours long. I'm just gonna do that myself. So, Captain Cod Eye. That's a great name, by the way. that's a very, very good name. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, good luck to all involved. Go to the helicam, see what we can see from there. Some of the helicam shots are dreadful. I mean, that's not exactly lovely, is it? You want to see if you can get a shot? No, it's going to be probably a shot like, oh crikey, that's a long way away, isn't it? No, all the cameras are rubbish. Anyways, I'll stay with this one for a bit. I love that. That's a great new band user 06. Is that all? That couldn't be a bot, could it? That's an absolute corker. No, never. Your OnlyFans is your only way to success, I'm afraid, Sharpie. But there's a niche for everything, isn't there? Let's be honest. It's no, I've got my own mental images now that I can't. I'm just gonna keep those to myself because I'm starting to feel a little bit queasy. So I think most cars are probably just about done with everything. Tyre pressures, little bits of changes to their setup. So now it's just about getting calm, getting focused, start of the race. So at least they are starting in the dry. Oh, probably he must do, isn't he? Oh, I doubt he does SMR. It's just suggestive photos. Anyone into like fold out wooden desk chairs? Be right up their alley. So, a minute to go then. So it's good to give 5 minutes, just because sometimes you get where the conditions you weren't quite expecting for the race, and it's like 2 minutes is not long enough to work all that out. And we are not getting that, Christian. Do not start suggesting. Do not encourage anyone, okay? We already get suggestions from when I'm like talking quietly into the microphone. You know, stuff. It's not doing that. Do you know what? Yeah, he deserves it. Tough T. That's well, I am, but never mind. Oh well, don't click that thing for the love of Christ. Don't be a posting link, Sharpie. You're just a troublemaker. We already knew that, anyways. But so then, be interested to see if these guys just keep it clean at the front. They've clearly got the pace. These front three, especially, do not need to fight each other too hard. Do not to hamper each other too much. Do too much of that, you're going to just encourage everyone else like to push on. You've got quick enough drivers behind as well. So you've got drivers like Chumley in fifth. He's no slouch. You know who can mix it. Be interesting to see what James Haskell can do from fourth. Ian Hall put it on into the second row in qualifying, but has opted to do the second stint. So some cars you will see going quickest driver first, just get them in as good a position they can, and then the second driver who maybe hasn't quite got the same pace will try and hold on. And then some teams going the other way. They'll put the slower driver in first of all. Depending on the gap between the two, some teams will have, a fairly large chasm in terms of lap time between the two drivers, and some will be very, very close. Yes, you'll see some teams putting their quickest driver in second, so that whatever position the first driver's been able to get it into with an hour left, the second driver can come into the car and push. We'll find out in a minute, won't we, Reese? There's been some good racing in the championship. Like I say, it's a shame the amount of teams that signed up and then either didn't make more than 1 or 2 races. People who flaked, basically. We get that live stuff happens. It's a Sunday afternoon, but it's a shame if they sign up and they can't stick with it. But Such is life. Not sure if we'd do an Enduro Championship again. I think much prefer the idea of just one-offs. Because then everybody knows it's that date, it's that time, that's the only event. You only have to make that one. But like when we did the big races, but we'll see. So we can still have some good racing in. There's been plenty of good racing in this championship. So I missed quite a few of the events in this season. DSRT Gorn, or Jimenez, Mr. Jimenez, stood in admirably, did a great job. And I made sure that these races were still brought to you live here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to my one and only race of the championship in the commentary booth. The interesting first corner is Redgate as well, at right-hander. Just a bit more than 90 degrees, come down to that long right, sweeping down from Hollywood into the Craner curves, which is that fast left just before the old hairpin shooting you uphill. So it's tough going too wide, and you will see a lot of time people trying to go too wide, and it doesn't always end particularly well. But fingers, arms, toes, legs, everything. If you can cross them, cross them. Yeah, they cause less chaos than you as well, Leg. They cause a little bit less chaos than me as well. I can't pretend I'm the most saint-like driver in the world. So we're off and away then. No drive-throughs at the start, which is always good to see. It's always a little bit of a fear. The race can be ruined for a team so early on with a drive-through, but we are good to go. So Foch holding on nicely then. Harry Conway in second in that Porsche, the 696. Starting in behind Martin Lawrence. We've got Alina as well. Whereas he's back in. Oh, there's a time to do their thing. Cheers to say, of course, making commentators' lives hell since whenever the hell that started to happen. But luckily, only 19 drives. It didn't take very long. And Scott, yeah, that's true. It's a decent start up the front. Car off the back though, so pretty. And a bit of a coming together. Where is Mr. Vincent? A little bit further forward in the McLaren, looking at what car that is in front, because it isn't pretty. We've just seen where he is. He's got it down the inside, coming into the chicane, doesn't go for it. Come down into the hairpin now, maybe have a look. I think he'll be patient. I don't think he thinks from that far back is anything really viable. You'll see quite a few incidents here, I'm sure, as well. You often see when a car in front has a slightly poor entry, gets a slow air exit, and the car behind him always nails the corner and nails the car in front often as well. So Foch with a lovely first lap then. Off on the way at the front, but you can see Conway and Lawrence right in behind Ian Hall. A little bit of a gap, about 9/10 back to Ian. He's got Elena just in behind with Salmonen and Alex Wood. Vlodger, Artem and Cross top 10. So no massive movements as of yet. A little bit of a hoo-ha towards the back in the first lap, but that would be it so far. Navigating their way through the old hairpin nicely. So you can see Elena behind Ian Hall. There's Ian Hall's back up into fourth. So yeah, Haskell didn't start the race. That's just clearly Haskell's just driver number one for that team. So as I get moving, it swaps back to the name of the driver in the car. So Ian Hall has kept it from quali. But, he's got a butt groove in that seat, all nice and warm. So he's sitting in it and staying in there with his lights on as well. It's a little bit gloomy. It's not really gloomy, it's middle of the day, but in Britain, in the middle of the end of October, I suppose that can headlights could still be quite useful. So you're in there. So have they dropped back, or is the game having a moment? I think the game's just having a moment now. They're definitely still fifth. So in sixth, who the hell's got past? I'm pretty sure no one has overtook them yet. So O'Reilly and Cross. Probably Cross or something like that. Probably not Cross, that would be two S's, but you get the gist. No, let's not pray for rain. I'd quite like a dry race, to be honest. But I mean, whatever the drivers would like more, obviously. So just behind Matt Artim, America United racing. Quite a simple livery that, but quite like it. Number 25. He's going to be slightly under attack now then. Coming up to McLean's. Or McLean's. Say it how you like. And then up to Coppice. Slightly blind right-hander at the top of this crest. We're going to nail it as early as you can. He's got a lovely exit out of Coppice, actually. You can see he just pulled away a little bit as across. And a little bit wide coming through Coppice. Exit onto the Starkey Straight. Coming down to the Fogarty S's. Easy to overcook it through there. So he's had a nice few corners there. It's probably a little bit of a gap on McLaren behind him. Alex Wood under attack though from Volodya. Just holding on through the Melbourne hairpin, coming up to Goddard again though. At the end of that, number 2. Good boy, Nico Veldman. The Bentley 255 in the pro category. Made all but one race this championship. It's fair play. I like that. Got to admire that. It's got to have a decent start to P13. Oh, the car definitely using some gravel there. Oh, and who's that off? Who is that off? Well, how are we going to find this out? The game, you know what this game's like at telling us. So it's not sure. Who is it? Ah, it was... Oh, so we have a 15-second penalty. So, penalty's starting to come up then. And Mekov, number 40 with 15 seconds. Be interested to see who that was for a collision with. Has it been posted? Not yet. It's curious if it had been posted in the game chat yet. No, it has not. So, yeah, no, it's got a decent start. 2.5 seconds back from Roberts. Oh, hello. There's another collision. So Richard Evans then. See if we can catch this. I think might have had a coming together with Cy Prithee maybe. Oh, I can already tell what's happening here, or which of the cars going to murder him. Oh, it's a little tap at just the wrong moment, and round it goes. Oh, yeah, gets away from the apex. Luckily the car behind saw it coming. Little glance at the wall, that's not going to help the damage count. That's a shame. Yeah, it's very common to see that kind of collision there. As I said, it's that corner where one car's maybe gone a little bit deep, the other car comes in a little bit too hot. The car behind actually gets on the throttle earlier, while the car ahead is still getting up to pace out of the turn, and yeah, wallop and round they go. And you do not need much persuasion at that kind of point. It will send you round without much trouble. Oh, Foch stamping on the brakes then, just about getting that stop for Melbourne. Yeah, there's going to be some, which is a bit of a shame. But racing's racing, isn't it? There's always going to be a couple of collisions here and now. I'm just going off what the game tells me happens as well. So unfortunately, sometimes it's not the most informative. It thinks every little tiniest tap is a massive murder, and then when sometimes a murder happens, it doesn't actually tell you enough. So another car's had its trouble. Well, that's yeah, and Floric get out of the way. Fair play. So I think it's gone round on his own then. Let's see if we can catch this then. So final turn. Has he had some persuasion, or has it all been of his own doing? Has he just put his foot down just a little bit too eagerly? Oh, that's... See, the game has... I'm not even sure what's gone on there, and then as he floored it on the grass. Oh, that's not great. Oh, but plants it on the brakes to stop the car, which is fair play. So I wonder how we ended up there after the initial little tap. So I wonder whether that was a little bit... Not net Cody, but I'm pleased to say the game only detected that as... single car accident apparently, so yeah, who knows frankly. Go back to Conway though, see how they are faring at the front. So it's front three really close together still, pretty impressive 5 laps in. And there's less than 7/10 of a second between the 3 of them, and you see what a gap there is back to 4th. So Jana Salmonen, so I'm assuming I can see, yeah, and so now you say that, so Ian Hall was one of those involved, wasn't he? Mouse twister, oh, goes a bit long there. So we've all done that. Tricky corner to get the braking right for that final 10. So yeah, 2 cars that are most suffered at the moment then, Ian Hall probably, and I mean, pretty we saw the issue earlier on, obviously Mekov as well. They've both had 15-second penalties they've caused. Collisions. Artem, who we just saw the replay from, in his mishap at the final 10. So clearly got a little bit of persuasion rounds. It's the tiniest tap, but a tap it was, at least on the replay. But 10 minutes in then, so front 3, so close. Nothing between the 3 of them. 6.5 seconds back to Jana Salmonen, now in 4th, so they've took advantage of Ian Hall, car number 32, having their own struggles. So I think they might have had a coming together with someone else. Drive through 4, Mr. Jamie Shaw, so he'll have to come in and serve that shortly. You see just behind, look at that train, the Alex Wood mobile. Roger looking like he might go a little bit long there, doesn't know, holds on to it nicely, they run off a little bit, but rescues it just fine. Look at this, Wood, Volodya, well, Volodya in front of Wood now, Veldman and Cross, also so close. Roberts not far behind that train as well, just within touching distance. Imagine that might be due to whatever it was being on lap 1. It could easily be that, or it might have been that bad, it's that clumsy and that stupid that it's really screwed someone over, but who knows. Is that TL? You're going to have to ask that again. What track limit? Ah! Right. Got you. Oh wow! 4 track limits in 10 minutes. Really? I mean, that's cracking going. I mean, we've all done it where there's one corner and you're screwing it up every single corner, but if he's done that 4 times in 4 laps, that's impressive. Impressive to the point that I actually sympathise, but I sort of do and I sort of don't. So there we go, another 15-second penalty going out, so that was to Cross. Car number 9. You have to be really patient coming out of corners like that. It's such a slow corner, but you put your foot down a bit earlier than the car in front, and you keep your foot planted, and go right up the back of the car ahead of you. It's not much excuse. You've just got to be patient and wait for that car to pull away. It's it's in front of you. It does sort of negate how quick you can go. But yeah, 5 of them here, nice and close. Volodya getting away a little bit at the front of this pack. Once you cleared Alex now got to be a little bit under attack from Cross, but obviously you've got Cross, Prithee and Mekov all having to serve 15-second penalties at their pit stop, so they'll be kept in the pits for that much longer. Jamie Shaw having to serve a drive-through in the next 3 laps, but yeah, if that's the track limits, that is some going. 13 minutes, well, it was about 11 or 12 minutes into a 2-hour race. It's so easily done. There's certain corners around here, it might be the Fogarty ES, it's like it coming down to now, it could be easily done there, and he might have just done the same thing on a few laps. He's trying his best not to. Oh, that's never going to work. Yeah, some odd driving there, if you ask me. I think Alex would. Yeah, that could. I don't know. That looked pretty avoidable, to be honest. But on all counts, you had. I'll watch this again. It's from this camera. So car behind, that's Cross, has a good run. He's going to look up the inside, and then Alex sort of, Yeah, I don't know if that's really great from Alex. Alex, to me, looks like he moves... He's almost really early pointing it at the apex and just trying to move across in the way, which has then caused Cross to have to basically ditch it on the grass to avoid a collision because of Alex is kind of coming across in the braking zone. But you can see he's only hurt himself now. I think we missed a little hoo-ha just afterwards as well. So Roberts has got through. Yeah, some interesting driving going on. Shaw serving his drive through then. So give him another 4 laps. We'll see him in there again. Oh, hopefully not. I jest, of course. I sincerely hope that doesn't happen, but so we've all been there, so it might do. You never know. Poor fella though, poor fella. Keep going. Soldier on. Only 1 hour 45 minutes left to go. See the front guys then. Still no separating the 3 of them. Foch, Conway and Lawrence. Putting on some great fighting here. And again, it's always fun when it's 3 different cars. We've just got a fleet of Astons or a fleet of McLarens all at the front. Or Porsche, you see that quite a lot. Lawrence then going for the move up the inside into turn number 1. Look at side by side, no contact as of yet, but they're now going to see if they can keep it side by side. All the way through Hollywood. I think, yeah, fair play to Conway. He decided, you know what, that isn't worth going side by side down Carena and up Old Hairpin. I'll slot in and we'll... I think guys of a certain speed, they have the racecraft where they know that fighting each other is just going to let the other car disappear. That too. Angel of All, yeah. Now that's... Yeah, if you like a good, if you see a good sausage game and you think I'm having some of that, you do that for long enough, yeah, you're gonna have a really deflated tyre somewhere or other. I've been there again many times myself because I'm a bit rubbish. Hopefully I'll be a bit less rubbish once I have a wheel later this week, but rubbish still nonetheless. But yeah, track limit. Oh, there's plenty of things to keep you on your toes. Yeah, 1 hour pressure loss and then give it to the other driver and see if they can do the same. Or just don't change your tyres and be like, there you go. So Conway holding on nicely then, hasn't really lost time to these 2 in front, so I think maybe just being tactical, not try and hold themselves up. Thinking, well actually, if Lawrence can get ahead and is going to hold up Foch by fighting and keeping him on his toes, that might benefit me by me fighting with Lawrence. It's just gonna hold us both up and he'll disappear off up the road. So we'll see whether that turns out to be true. Elina and Salmonen, 4th and 5th, but quite a way back to be truthful. 6 seconds Salmonen to Conway. It'd be interesting to see though if Conway starts losing a little bit of ground to those front runners. About 8/10 on the last timing line, but looked like he had dropped a little bit. So keep an eye on that for the next lap or 2. See if that goes up above a second or 2, and see if Salmonen then closes the gap himself up to Conway in 3rd. So a few gaps between sort of 5th up to about 8th, and then we've got Alex Word in 9th, still with Cross just behind him. Obviously these guys having their little hoo-ha we saw on the replay coming down into the S's earlier on. You've still got Ian Hall and you've got Scott Vincent as well right in behind, so Scott started a bit further back but now has a chance. So you can see up to 9th place, so a top 10 finish very much in the offing here. I think just got to be patient with these guys. Doesn't need to really force too much of an issue. Notice what these guys are like. He'll have Martin Legg getting in the car the second stint later on. See what he can do. All making it round the Melbourne hairpin just nicely. Very easy to make a mess of that. So actually, no, Conway not being dropped. It's kept the time actually brought it just a little bit in, just under half a second now. Conway to Lawrence. Oh, let's come back up to 7/10. Do love those timing lines, but you get the gist. Little gnome with a tie. I've got a picture now where there's a little gnome just inside the curb. It's like if you come close enough, I'm like, well, you shouldn't have driven here, should you? Get off my curb. Yeah, I'm quite prone to that. Certain curbs, certain tracks. Zolder, I'm quite awful for that. Up to pressure loss, I'm well known to that that in-game announcement. Oh, pressure loss at your front left, or oh man, it's just all the time. And I know I'm going to do it as well, and I still don't. Yeah, just again inept driver. It's mostly because I'm rubbish. Yeah, I said these guys don't have to fight for very long, and you catch them fast. You saw the hoo-ha they were having earlier on. It says Scott's got about 1.2 seconds to catch them though. Saying that, Foch has had a bit of a moment. So it says accident. Vidice says he had an accident. Whether that was with anyone else or all on his own, I think it was all on his own. Pretty certain it was all on his own. And now, still in the lead, you can see the Porsche having a bit of a flash there. So I think what we're going to do, we'll go back to 30 seconds and see if we catch anything. Ah, okay, so. Wonder who he was flashing then. I don't think it was flashing Foch, unless Foch did something right towards the end of this replay that we don't see. But the oh yeah, no, so Foch went straight back up the inside. I wonder if he was being let back through by the 404. That would be the done thing. If the 404s let him back through, then that's probably fair enough. Because from what we saw there, probably wasn't a legit overtake, was it? It was a bit divey. It's not probably giving Foch a little bit of damage. Fingers crossed it hasn't given him anything that's going to cause him too much trouble between here and the end of the race. Front right puncture, yeah. Oh, have you ever had a tyre burst? Like burst properly on here? It's very rarely. I don't know if I've seen it happen in a league race. I've seen it's happened to one of our OTL cars in endurance, I think, once, right towards the end of a stint. It's literally gone pop. Yeah, well, Monza by any chance? Well, let's talk about that, the better. The way you hit a curb hard enough to break your wrist and lose no pressure. Yeah, they're American curbs, they're softer. No, come on, yes, it might. Okay, that's it, yes. Yes, no, well, the race that shall not be mentioned, we say. Muff SDR. Interesting name. Thank you very much for the follow. I hope you're well. Much appreciated. Oh, interesting question. Is that Master Twister or is it Mr. Twister? I'm assuming it's Mr. Twister, but my brain wants to say Master Twister. I don't know why. Cheers for the follow. Either way, thank you very much, Mr. Yeah, it makes sense. My brain, I don't know why it's like, you know, it could be Master. If you're under 18, it's a Master Twister. If you're over 18, it's Mr. Twister. That's what you get on letters in the UK, isn't it? If you're male, it's like when you're a child, Mr. When you're adult, Master. Other way around, sorry, Master and Mr. Either way, why can't I just have Master all the time? I don't care that I'm in my 30s. Master sounds more fun and more authoritative. Anyways, yeah, not turning off your ABS in a wet race. Not the best. I bet you've only done that once, though, Christian. Not something that you repeat too often. Well, Scott up the inside then of Prithee. And up into 11th then, so they dropped back a little bit. So you can see that little train up ahead, not far up ahead though. Is Ian Hall part of that group? He is now, so Ian Hall with Cross and Wood as well. Oh, again, Nitro X Racing, but I want to call it Nitrox, which is a cool name if so. If it wasn't your name, I'd go with that, Nitrox. Yeah, cheers for the follow. Either way, thank you very much. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a nice Sunday so far. So nearly a quarter of the way into the race then. So Ian Hall much further forward in terms of qualification, but has had an upset at some point. We didn't catch it. It might have been with a contact with another car. We didn't, again, for some reason, didn't register whether there was a collision between him and someone else. So it leaves me only speculating, annoyingly. But again, we know he has good pace. You don't get the quality in 4th, just behind Lawrence, Foch and Conway, unless you're pretty up there in terms of pace, just raw pace. So Cross has got that 15-second penalty to serve at the next pit stop. So Cross just in front. You know, having a bit, but not mad. He's not going to go for something from back there. There's ambitious and there's insanity. And that would be very much the latter. So Scott just trying to keep Prithee behind. Again, another 15-second penalty being to be served, so won't have to worry too much about that car. Once they get in and around the pit stop window. Markley trying to close that gap a little bit on Richard Evans. That Bentley just up ahead. Around about 8/10 at the last timing line. So we'll go back on board with the front runners, Lawrence and Fox, just dropping Conway a bit now. So it'll be interesting when you get into the realms of tyre wear and just confidence with the setup. Is Fox going to be done here by Lawrence? I think he is. Is Fox going to keep it on the inside though? Or he might. This is going to be a bit squeaky bottom. God, I don't know how they've kept that too wide. I've absolutely no idea. Oh, and Conway is not going to need another invitation. He can see third to first in his very near future there. Decides actually probably not the best idea if we all want to survive. Fair play, that's probably sensible. It looks exciting, it looks fun, but it would have been pretty nasty. We got cars upside down, bits of metal everywhere, so probably best he didn't. And after all that potential hullabaloo, they are still in the same order, and they are roughly where they were about 10 laps. About 10 laps ago. It looks like it was all going to get very exciting there. Dive bombs left, right and centre. Porsche could go from third to first in one corner, and then, yeah, maybe I shouldn't. Normally that's what separates the clean drivers from the dirty drivers, even the quick ones. Those who can see that opportunity, ones who go for it and are mad because they come off once in a blue moon, and those who go, actually, you know what? I'm still in the car for another half an hour. I've got plenty of opportunity, especially if those two fight again. You know, if Conway gets dropped a little bit by Lawrence and Foch, as soon as those two start to battle, you know, at the pace these guys are driving, you lose a couple of tenths, 3 tenths, all of a sudden you go, you're in it, and straight away Conway went from completely off the pace. Oh, well, it's a great save from Lawrence. Going to lose him a hell of a lot of time, I'd have thought. Maybe 2 or 3 tenths. A little bit of a wiggle, maybe cleaning off the tyres. I don't know if he's friends with Conway, but Conway giving him a little flash. It's great. Oh, it's unbelievable. I'm glad sometimes even with smaller grids you can have great fighting. There's still some great fights going on throughout the grid as well. Like I said, we were watching. Well, actually, I think Woods has caught up to Roberts. But have a quick look. So Phil Roberts. Yeah, so he's actually been passed. So Alex Wood ahead of Phil Roberts. We've got Cross to still serve a penalty, and then Ian Hall as well. Cross having to look up the inside again, sensibly deciding, do you know what? Let's not. Look up the inside. I could dive up the inside. No, I'm not going to. Rob's here though. Going to try and retake that position. Would he go a little bit long? Alex would maybe have a slight. Oh yeah, that's exactly the incident I was worried we'd see, and that really has to be all on Alex Wood. So I think there may be a penalty in his future. Yeah, that's a shame. Not fair on Phil Roberts. Do much to deserve that from what I saw. It's just, again, it's that hairpin again where he's gone slightly wide, the car behind, all they've got to do, they have to lift off, or you've got to really cut back, and then if the other car gets enough of an exit that they can defend the inside line, you just have to lift off or go wide. What you cannot do is keep your foot planted, and that, I think, is how a lot of the incidents have probably happened today, and was certainly how that one came about. So yeah, that's not fair on Roberts, but he's now behind Prithee and Scott Vincent, I think. He is just ahead of them. And if Woods has a penalty coming, then actually I think Roberts would still end up ahead of them, just on relative, imply 15 seconds here, he's quite a way behind. The car is just tapped round. Yeah, you see that kind of incident so often in loads of races, like so often it's not even funny. So I'm racing something tonight. I may even do it there. I shouldn't, because I know, it's unlikely. Pressure loss on 3 tyres. Well, that's a bit discriminatory on the 4th tyre, isn't it? At least include that one. Like if you're gonna have tyre pressure problems, include all of the tyres. Be all inclusive. Jeez. The other tyre being like, I don't know what you guys are worrying about. All the grip. And the others are like gasping for air. Poor thing. Well, good luck, Nico. I'm holding on to that. That is going to be feeling like a bag of spanners, I'm sure. It's not going to be much fun to drive for anybody, very much least of all you. Well, teammate just better hope he definitely changes tyres, I'll tell you that. It'll be fun for no one if he doesn't. Go back up with these guys then. These top three. Again, Salmonen's closed the gap. So the fight, you can see in the background there, that Bentley is 2 seconds closer than it used to be. So it's about 6 seconds away. It's now what, 4.5? So depending on what part of the track, it's still a darn sight closer. These guys battle much. Then yeah, you're gonna see that Bentley get closer and closer, and then he won't need much persuading. He'll get a bit more encouraged. We're literally just about to hit the halfway mark. Oh, by the way, Reese, I don't know if you're going to carry on watching, but enjoy playing Railroads Online. My Steam notification just come up. Reese Williams is now playing. So there we go, Alex Wood, a 15-second penalty, and can't say any fairer than that, really. I think. You spin a car, you need to be getting about 10-15 seconds, especially in a race like this, because you damage the other, like, you know, it costs them a whole chunk of time to get going again, and then it costs them in terms of a little bit of damage, and just you should be getting penalised for doing stuff like that. Even if it's not intentional, well, it's never intentional, but it's clumsy. It's like, so you just have to take it on the chin and go, yeah, that's my bad. Hands up. That sucks. So come on, got to be a bit careful. We're being dropped a little bit again. These guys are interesting. All three of them. You think it's stretching out, you think maybe there's 2-3 tenths between top two, and then maybe a second and third. All of a sudden someone makes a slight mistake at the front, or Lawrence pushes a bit forward, the Porsche comes with him, and it just Constantine, as it closes up all the way over again to less than a second between the three of them. I'm sure they'll be enjoying it. It's been no, it's not scrappy, maybe that's the wrong word, maybe a little bit harsh. It's been, you know, it's been honest, it's been a bit fighty at times. We saw Lawrence with the tap on Foch. I'm sure a genuine, honest mistake has just got on the brakes just that tiniest bit too late. You know, sometimes you just hit the brakes and they lock up. Or, you know, you're going straight on. You're like, this is not how this was meant to go. Unfortunately, he's just got out enough. I think Foch, being the driver he is, he's got enough skill. I think he saw it coming and opened his wheels a long way. He went wide, and so he still got hit, but he didn't get hit as much as, say, if he was at the apex. So he's got like a clean enough car at the moment that he can hold on, but you would say that those gaps still coming and going. They're closed down, they get bigger, they close down again. It'll be very interesting to see once the second drivers are in the cars, just how they fare though. So we've got Tom Bryan to swap into this 404 car. Obviously, Foch has got Szymanski to jump in afterwards. And then I believe we've got Benjamin Harman, who we saw quite near the top of the practice times as well, to jump in. So all three very solid, but it'll be interesting to see how they fare once they're... Oh, there's a car that's had an off. Hopefully we'll get out of the way and let these all through. It's a little bit close there, but it's fair play. It literally ended up having to park it in the end, so the Porsche may be losing out a little bit there. I think that was Torvakovsky, I believe. Makes sense. If so, it was indeed. For Yarmo not having the best of time then, unfortunately. He's probably had a big off at the... I'd imagine coming through the S's. Maybe got a bit of a wiggle on, lost it big time styly, and yeah. Just about recovered, thankfully. So Ian Hall here joining the gang. I'm feeling a bit left out without a 15-second penalty. So obviously there have been a few cars involved in a few scraps that have resulted in time penalties. As I said, they'll be served at the pit stops. So once they come out of their pits, they'll be where they should be. But it's going to be a fair chunk back further than they would be otherwise. Especially for Cross and Wood. They've had good battling in that mid-pack, but just a couple of times have just... Yeah, it's not been as clean as it should be. And they're going to lose out heavily. They'll drop back to sort of 15th, 14th, 15th. Probably around that sort of gap at the moment, even slightly further back. Be interesting for Ian Hall. He'll want to try and catch up in this last 25 minutes as much as he can to that gap, say, Nico Velman in 7th. And he was around Salmon and Illina in 4th and 5th. He qualified 4th, did Ian Hall. Which again, superb result. Just I love watching drivers improve and just not even just racecraft, but just speed and consistency and fighting out with the top boys is wicked to see. So it's do have a slight soft spot for Ian Hall, as you may have guessed. It's good to see him doing so well. He's pushing back up. He's gained a few positions. So these three still close. I think Ian Hall just hanging on to the back of them for now. Don't want to get too much of a battle, then you end up losing heaps of time for Lodger. 3.2 back from Milliner, but has got a decent size gap back to Nico Velman, as you can see, nearly 6.4 seconds. I think it might struggle to. It's one of those weird races where you end up just driving around on your own for a bit. It's like, well, it's great, we're in 6th, that's not bad. Not bad at all. So actually, at the moment, the lead AM car, after the pit stops, is probably going to be Artem. Because Cross and Wood, whereas 15-second penalties are, if you drop them back 15 seconds now, it drops them back quite a bit further than Artem, I think. 9 to 12, yeah, I think it would be... Yeah, I think it'll be 3-4 seconds behind Artem at this moment. That will change obviously by the time they come in. Back up from the front, guys. So these three are still muckling it out. But actually, look, it looks like Lawrence finally got the move made. Typical, I'd come to them just after they've changed. So Foch back into second. So he'll now want to go on the attack. Having been on the defensive for the first half an hour. Or Muckley in the pits then. Wonder, that's quite an early pit stop, so have they got damage then? We'll see, hopefully they're going to continue. So yeah, Conway, you see every now and again just gets dropped a little bit, but it's clearly quick enough around the lap that he does close the gap up a tad. Be interesting to see now if Martin Lawrence, though, after getting ahead of Samir, maybe realises his pace and just bridges a little bit of a gap. This would be, if you're gonna see them suddenly stretch, it would be about now. If, say, there was an argument for Lawrence being held back pace-wise. But now Foch, as I said, might attack a bit more, drive a bit more aggressively, and rather than try and defend from the cars behind, might actually be able to try and have a go. The last thing he wants is for them to close up as a 3 again, because then they'll have to attack and defend. And that is a tricky old mistress to try and accomplish. Until you take your eye off one, and you either lose the car in front or you just get done by the car behind. It very easily happens. So you can see about 7 tenths. That's probably about still only 1.1 seconds between the three of them. Still not particularly a large gap. Just looks like they've stretched out a little bit compared to, say, earlier in the race. But still very little between the three of them. So let me know if the stream's okay for you guys as well, by the way, because I'm getting a few bits and bobs popping up on my stream, but I believe the stream feed to you guys should all be fine. But if there's any issues do pop up, let me know. So they'll come around to lap. So who's that going to be? Let's find out. That's Jamie Shaw. So he'll have a job very shortly to let the leaders through. You can see Conway having a right old go. Foch in front. And fair play. Doing what I do, that McLaren's like, I am going to sod off right over here. Probably wants to lift a little bit earlier to give them all the right line, because then poor old Conway here loses a bit of entry speed, not being able to take the same angle as those other cars in front. So I'd like to, if that car's going to lift off and let them through earlier, I think it maybe could have lifted off a bit heavier, let them through and then just let them all be on the same line. Doesn't seem to have cost Conway too much though. Cheers for the follow, Goki or Goaki. Ghoul knows how we'll say your username, but Goaki. Cheers for the follow, much appreciated. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a good weekend so far. Hope you don't feel as groggy as I do after the clocks have gone back an hour. Don't know why they do it to me every year. I feel absolutely dreadful, and it's like, why? I should get an hour more. I don't get it. I feel horrendous today. I didn't even sleep that badly compared to recently, but I still feel shocking. I think it's just age, isn't it? I'm just old now. 33, you know. Bus pass very soon, I'm sure. I'd love a bus pass. I'd use the heck out of that. I wouldn't. Well, maybe not at the moment. Questionable figures if I had on the buses around here. So you can see then Lawrence has pulled the lead then of just over a second to Samir. And Conway less than half a second back from Foch as well. So still not a huge amount of time between them. Salmon then dropped back a bit, so these three have really pulled that gap now then to the rest. Still be careful in your pit stops though. Very easy to miss your pit box, speed into the pits, do anything stupid. You can lose lots of time just by making a simple pit entry mistake. We've still got Veloggio trying to close up on Ilinia, a little bit closer than we saw earlier, 2.3 seconds. About 9.1 back to Veldman, so he's safe in terms of 7th spot. Doesn't want to risk too much though. It's not so much that you couldn't catch him if Veloggio had a spin. So we've still got Cross, we've got Wood in Hall, who has dropped off the back a little bit, about a second from Alex Wood. Again, Alex Wood and Cross, a pretty decent pace. But a bit scrappy earlier on, that's their penalties. Prithia as well, pushed forward a bit. Scott Vincent. It's a little bit out of practice, Resin, but still going on strong. Just getting back into the swing of things. Not the easiest cars and tracks to do as well. British tracks are a bit of a challenge. We saw Matt Artim have his spin earlier on. Little persuasive tap round at the final turn. So it was such a tiny contact. Almost, I said the game, it thought it was just a single car spin. Didn't think someone else had tapped him. So it might have been a little bit Nick Cody. Very rare to get that on here. It's not like iRacing where sometimes the car can be a metre away and it hits you. I don't think I've seen that on here yet, but doesn't mean it's happened. It doesn't mean it's not happened though. So I haven't been privy to it as of yet. So Richard Evans in the 3-3 and 15th spot. Again, still charging on. Hopefully some good stuff to come for them in the final 80 minutes of the race. Mekov, another team puncture tyre. That's a great name, by the way. But they saw this track coming, didn't they? Team pressure loss. Now we saw Jamie Shaw. We saw that those leaders go just a lap or two ago. We've got Torvakovsky and then final car on track at the moment. Steve Muckley we saw in the pits a little bit earlier on, but has continued nonetheless. A fair play to them. Look at that lead that has been bruised already though. Lawrence 1.9 seconds. Foch very much on the defensive now then. That was a very defensive line. He's going to have to try and stick this to the curb. You can see Conway wants to give himself a little bit of a tighter line back through. Doesn't quite work for him though. So Foch. So we know he's a cracking driver. We know how quick he is. Former, a lot of people go, is that the same? Is that Foch as in World of Tanks? Foch, is that? Yeah. Ex, very popular, very well known World of Tanks streamer. Stopped doing that a while back now, maybe a year or so ago. Maybe a bit longer than that. And yeah, sim racing extraordinaire now. And very, very quick is the Latvian driver. Funny fella as well. And Conway though, having a look, that was not the cleanest old hairpin from Foch, but if you've got the track position, doesn't mean you can do what he's doing here and defend. So you've got to be very careful because you can go in these narrower lines if you give yourself a naff exit though. I don't think Conway will try it through here. But he's going to stick it to the apex. He's going to make Foch think about it. You make Foch worry that the car inside might go for the apex and you suddenly have to leave the room. So it's clever driving there from Conway. On the outside though, into the fog at ES's, I don't think he'll have anything here. So Foch will just have to make sure he gets it stopped nicely. As always, should get a good launch out. So it's good defending there from Foch. So he races a lot. He races a huge amount, so not surprised at all to see him be able to handle himself. Goes a little bit wide though. Oh, Conway, I think, just judging that one nicely. I was worried we'd see another punt around there. The Orion Cross get involved in a little something else just off while we were watching these two in the second and third. You see though, look at that, Lawrence at the front. What's this gap now? 4 seconds. Yeah, he's gained second half. Nearly 2 seconds that lap. I think he gained about 2 seconds that last lap. So all of a sudden, just that's what the difference is between Foch being able to hold Lawrence back and then Lawrence dropping behind him. And then Foch dropping behind him, because then Foch has got to try and keep up and makes any mistakes. He's all of a sudden he's dropping back at an alarming rate. Already on cross. Getting a little bit of car contact popping up on my activity feed here, telling me that he's having some moments. Let's see who with. Is it with himself or is it with, again, involving others? So Ian Hall just behind him. He's got Alex Wood, that black and yellow car just in front. Gets a good drive out. Gets up the inside. Maybe a little tap there. I'll swap across by Alex Wood. That's going to be a bit dive bombing. I don't think that's going to quite make an apex. Yeah, good cut back then from Cross. So no, there was a little touch coming down the straight. So there was nothing much happening there. And then we should pop back to the live feed. There we go. So still a little bit wide coming out of old hairpin there from Wood. Ian Hall, 7/10 back again. Still these three. Got a few battles on track that have been happening for lap upon lap. We've got Phil Roberts, who was cruelly took out of that fight earlier on, which is why there is a penalty for Alex Wood. Coughing fit's always fun when you're trying to commentate, but don't mind me. If I disappear, that might be why for a few seconds here and there. Now it's not British summertime here anymore. I'm going to get all the winter logo all at once, I think. Oh, November the 1st tomorrow. It's mad, isn't it? That could be November already, to end of 2021. Please make 2022 just a bit nicer than the last two. Please. For all of us. That's all I want. So yeah, Lawrence still pushing out that lead is, I think, only going to get larger and larger, because these two, they're going to battle now. I don't think they're going to try and help each other pull towards Lawrence. So what I'd maybe try and do, Scott Vincent into the pits then. So is that going to be their driver swap? Oh, hello. Oh, there he is. Cameraman was like, where's he gone? There was a McLaren here earlier. That found him. Nice on-brand OTL orange. Very nice. I wonder if that's the first driver swap of the day, so we're assuming that the maximum stint is 15 minutes. 15 minutes past the hour, so probably a 75. 70 minutes, so that's a weird time to pit then. Unless I had no choice. Weird. Okay, unless we've missed something completely here. Oh, is he? Oh, his leg's not. I know he wasn't. I know he was having some issues, poor fella. Okay. Does Scott still need to do... Would he still need to drive through again, though, to get the stint timer to do its thing? Or old hairpin, someone letting him go just before there. Fair play to making that work. I'll take penalty in the race. Fair dues. How much is that? Is that, what, 130? Or 30, or what? I've seen everybody do. There's very different penalties for that for some reason. It feels like. Very inconsistent. But fair play to Scott. Marching on nonetheless, and seeing what he can do. Okay. Miss Safi, good to see you again. Markley, so Markley's doing it on his own as well. Fair play. So I've got to do a 2-hour race later on my own, but that is just a solo league, so I've got to be rubbish for a whole 2 hours. The Fox going on the defensive again then, knows when he's under attack, moves all the way over to that inside line very, very early on. And it just doesn't give Conway anything to attack. So you don't need to see much of this as well to see that gap up to Lawrence grow and grow. It'll go from like 4.5, 5 seconds to 6.5 seconds very quickly. So he's just passed over the line here. Yeah, it's going to be a good 5.5, 6 seconds just from that one bit of fighting. Yeah, 5 seconds then. They lose another 7/10 to Lawrence, and he'll be having a lovely time. Just what he's hoping for, frankly. His ideal situation is literally these two cars behind him battling for as long as possible and that'll gain him half a second to second a lap. And if he can just nail a good last, however long he's staying in the car, obviously 70 minutes is the stints, a maximum stints. So if he wanted to drive the swap, really, he could do that in a lap and a bit. Whether he will, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's having a lovely time at the moment. Absolute whale of a time. Will be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see what Tom Bryant can do once he hops in the car. He's got a lot to live up to. It's been a very good opening stint from Lawrence. So there's a little moment, knock with Foch, but got out of it as much as he could, and there was minimal issues in the end. Maybe a tiny bit of damage, but it wasn't nothing horrendous. But yeah, he's pulled away beautifully. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see though if he does pit fairly shortly. I'm sure he won't be this lap, but maybe in the next couple of laps. But so if he's happy, they might continue, just leave him out there for a while longer. Can do up to another 20 minutes. Actually, let's go on board with Vyacheslav Volodya. He's only a second behind Illinya, Dominic Illinya. You can see just ahead of him there in the Aston. And you know, we have the back markers, so we have Shaw and Vincent there, right in front. So they are battling for position, so that's going to be fun. So Illinya's probably getting held up a little bit by that battle, but so they're going to have to. It's going to be difficult for those two because they've got to cede to the blue flags that they'll be getting now. They're also having their own fight, so it's a bit difficult. Not the easiest track to let a car past that, and Illinya's just going to have to be patient here because, you know, letting someone go at old hairpin is a bit of a death wish for all involved. So you get around there and then maybe evaluate. If he's wise here, he'll move over and let them through. Easy, Tiger. Yeah, that's why I saw that one coming. This is the problem. It's like, I've had this issue in a race here before. I've done a multi-class here, and you just don't know when that other car's letting you through. So I feel sorry for Illinya there. I've had that issue on those corners. And you literally don't know. It's like they're going wide. Oh, they let me through, or is that just the line they're going to take? So Vincent taking huge advantage of that. I think Volodya will get past now as well. Shaw should let him through, no problems. And then if Shaw just latches onto the back of them, should still be able to get to the back of Vincent once Vincent lets them through. Oh, saying that. It won't be happening anymore. So Volodya, unfortunately, having an off. Coming into the Fogarty S's. So interesting. So looks like maybe just got on the curb on the outside, spun it up, and off to the inside he's gone. Let's go and have a look. Let's go aboard the Helicam, go on a more broad camera angle. So what has he done here? Oh, too much curb on the inside, and round he's gone. Oh, gutting. Kept it out of the wall though, which is a relief. Easily done. Just cut that inside curve a bit too much. Just try to carry a bit too much speed through the corner. Oh, that's a shame. Was driving really well. It closed that gap really nicely. Up to Illinya was up to just over a second, and unfortunately, yeah, up to 8 seconds again now. So that's a massive shame. So no one's taken them one mandatory pit as of yet. Their one driver swap. Look at that lead at the top now, 6.5 seconds. Foch, oh, just getting out the inside then of Conway. And Conway maybe going a little bit long there. Let's see if we can just about catch on the replay. So Conway was part, went for the move, yet didn't quite work. Foch is old enough in the tooth to know how that'll work. You just let them disappear off on their own, wide of the corner, cut back and take it back. So fair enough, Conway had a go, didn't work, and he'll go again. But yeah, Lawrence with a great drive, just held that pace beautifully. As soon as he got him in front, disappeared off up into the distance. So Veldman and Mekov in the pits. Veldman taking the mandatory pit. Mekov will still need to serve that drive through. So I'm assuming that will be for track limits. Let's have a look. What car number? Oh, they are car number 40. So I believe that. Oh, I don't know. That might be for because that car has had a few warnings, so it might have been. I'm not sure. Now it's down 50. Who knows? Frankly, it's getting. There's penalties flying absolutely everywhere. just for a few cars. Oh, and talking of which, Muckley, I think, has been done for a track limit one there, and seems the leader coming crocky. There's wide and there's wide. Poor fella. So he's doing it solo as well. Only an hour and 6 minutes to go. Come on, Steve, you can do it, sunshine. I believe in you. Come on. I'll be doing this later on tonight, just at a different circuit. Silverstone in the pitch black, for what it's worth. I'll be driving around at the back on my own, probably in the pitch for 2 hours. Just, yeah. So poor fella. But soldiering on regardless, hopefully. So Lawrence driving superbly. Just stretching that lead further and further every lap. Again, Foch on the defensive, coming down into the first corner, down through Redgate. See another back marker. They've got into the fun part of the race where you have got the back markers to contend with. Conway going to try and go to the outside at the crane of curves. That's brave. He's got to go to the inside at Old Hairpin, and they're going to try and do that too wide. Oh, I'm wincing, I can tell you that for nothing. Fair play. Superb driving. Really superb driving from the both of them. You need two drivers of immense skill to get round that corner and not murder each other. Very, very well done. So yeah, as I said, this is just Lawrence is just disappearing into the distance due to this fight. And they'll know that. They'll know now that the battle for the win is gone. But they're having a lovely time. I mean, as long as Foch's team gets to the end, they should bring home the... Well, they will bring home the pro title. Either way, all they need is 2 points. The next best team, which is Lawrence's team, which weirdly have not had a great season, hasn't actually had a podium yet. I think it will tonight. I'm just saying tonight, even though it's only nearly 4:30 UK time. I don't stream early very often. It's a bit weird. It's slightly screwing with my system, if I'm honest. Not as weird as when there's a morning stream. That really screws with your head. Alex Wood with another 5-second penalty. So I believe that was for an off-track overtake. Alex Wood on car number 87. So that was on cross. They've had a lot of. They've been around each other a fair bit today. Obviously, Wood has dropped back though by a fair chunk, so he's clearly made a head of a mistake at some point. He's dropped back to 10th, even before that 20-second penalty, and that's, as I said, going to be served at the pit stop. Savinsky into the car now. So Victor down in 14th, but has all those cars in front still yet to pit. Go back on board with the front runners then. Two of the guys on the podium. So 9.2 seconds that lead now for Lawrence. So Conway's dropped a little bit back from Foch, but he gets great run out of a certain few corners, and I think Foch has probably noticed that. Conway just waiting up. Do I go for it from back here? Do I? I probably shouldn't, but I really want to. And wisely, didn't. But you can see any closer, that temptation would have got really, really strong. So Ian Hall just behind Cross, but again, Cross has that 15-second penalty. Doesn't need to worry too much at this point. As we're just entering that time, we should see some more pit stops. Talking of which, Harry Conway into the pits then. And where is he? There he is. I'm going to sack that cameraman later on, methinks. Oh, it's one of those fun pit stops where you just bumps as you go through the pit lane. So, Intertech make their mandatory pit stop. For Lodger, Richardson has having a bit of an off. I think it says accident. Might have just gone wide a little bit earlier in the lap. And they're into the pits as well now then. So you see them start popping in. You'll get those 4 cars with their time penalties to serve as well. They will sit there for that long on top of whatever their actual pit stop time would be for whatever they're doing. So Conway and Lodger in. Conway still sat there, dropped from the jacks, and off he goes. Well, crappy pit man. Well, hey, easy, Tiger. Okie dokies. Right, I'm just going to never click that camera ever again. So pretty in then. First penalty to be served. Sorry about any. Sorry if that triggered anyone's epilepsy or anything weird like that. Was mad. So if you can't find him, just pick the next camera, please. Just pick the next camera. So we have lost. I think that's Muckley. I think has decided that sod that. So was doing it solo, isn't doing it solo anymore. That's a shame. Still 18 of them with us though. Foch into the pits. This will be interesting. So Foch, not silly camera. No, that's right. I'll go helicam. Sorry, it avoids that annoying one. So Foch having his pit stop. So where is Harman? So Harman down in 8th spot. Let's go on board with Harman. Where is he? So coming down to the Fogger TS's right now. It's going to be fascinating to see. So will the undercut work here and that Porsche jump? Foch in the pits, or is Foch just by having that one extra lap but still going to be able to make it work? Did they both nail their pit stops? Did they nail their pit entry? You can lose so much time just by not getting the entry line right. If you optimise that, you can gain so much time on those who don't. Like, do you hit that pit box square on and without losing any momentum at all? So Foch is off. And I think, look at that. That's a great stop by the Ferrari. So it's quite a gap then, it would seem. Yeah, look at that. So Harman just coming through Redgate. And Foch already down, coming towards the crane of the curves. You can see, actually, yes, a hell of a pit stop then for Foch. Just gained himself just a bit of breathing room, a bit of space. Isn't not Foch, sorry, Foch's teammate, Szymanski. So I'm just used to saying it with Foch when I see that Ferrari. So, Szymanski now. Yeah, they clearly nailed that pit stop. And he's given himself a lovely gap, about 8 seconds or so. So that overcut working beautifully. Just that one extra lap out, maybe Harman getting caught up a little bit in the traffic, but Szymanski in a good place then. Coming into the second half of the race, just under an hour left to go. Salmonen in the pits as well, Richard Evans and Torvakovsky. Right, 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back with you in just a minute. Literally about 30 seconds to a minute. I'll be back very, very shortly. It was a bit longer than I intended. Said the actress to the bishop. We are going to get rain now. Look at that, 30 minutes, light rain. Kodo, which driver are you? Just for reference. Wood and with car. Okay, they're very close. Ah, you Mr. Markley, are you? No, unlucky, man. Unlucky, Steve. God, just still not going. Can't say I completely blame you though. Oh mate, yeah. I mean, I have that, but then that's because I'm not very good, personally. That's because I'm a little bit pants. Oh no, Prizzy with a drive-through. Oh, having one of them races. Yeah, right. A wet start would have been interesting. No, if you left, if you kept it in the last half an hour, you'd have got your wish, wouldn't you? Yeah, not in this championship though, because this is the last one for this, isn't it? Double check that I am not making that up. Yeah, the final round this is. Glad I've only been able to make this one, but I'm glad that I did at least get to make this one. But hey ho, fair play, you gave it a go though, Steve, you gave it a go. Tough track this as well. I like Donington, but it's tough. Like, I think it's underrated how tough it is, personally. So many places to make mistakes. Especially if it's wet, because you get like people trying to go 2x2, they're coming down like crane the curves and roll hairpin. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I'm not sure that's the wisest choice. So Privy, so I'm going to drive through, but still also needs to come in. Fair play to that Porsche going, I am out of here. I think that's Shatilov. Drive-through's been served as well, so Privy still needs to pit. Scott Vincent as well. Phil Roberts, and then the race leader. Talking of which, in he comes. Oh, so easy. And then minute, said something like the old hairpin, so easy to make a mistake. Roberts in as well. Well, just before they had to come in, they've come in. So yeah, Lawrence used literally all of his track time, all of his stint time, and fair play. Driving like that, can't blame them. I'm sure Tom Bryant's no mug either, but Lawrence is clearly pretty comfortable with that car. So we've got Bryant hopping in, we've got Szymanski and Harmon in the car as well. I've got Antoine Olive. Olive or Olive? I've got to find out one day exactly how his sound name is pronounced, like properly. Oh, Savinsky with a drive through. Last thing they needed. But it's still in the pits at the moment. Oh, there we go. God, the camera in the pits is awful on here, but never mind. We work with what we've got, like people. We work with what we've got. So Vincent obviously going solo, so that's staying. So yeah, so ignore what I said. That obviously is going to stay with this little one orange thing. By his name, he'll be taking the penalty at the end. Poor old Martin Legg, not in the wars, poor thing. So Savinsky came up right behind Scott. Oh, hello, little bit of touchy-feely. Trying to have old hairpin, and I think he's going to be given as good as he can get. He'll stay side by side. He'll give him room, but not much. And Savinsky, I think, will have the inside. Scott maybe go for a little bit of a cutback. He gets a tighter angle, a little bit of a wiggle for the Bentley. It's good driving by them both here. Scott leaving him just enough room, but that's all. Or a little bit of a flash. Savinsky not making much of a meal of the next corner though. Gets a wiggle. That's a shame. He just cut that corner a bit too much, that Coppice, and he leaves himself. Yeah, it's a bit of a big car, that. Olivier. Super. Lovely. I like saying it here because then I'm like, someone will tell me. If someone in here knows, they will tell me, and then I can get it right from now on. I thought it was Olivier because of the little, you know, the accent goes up, above the E. So it's like Olivier, isn't it? Not. Super. Well, I'm glad I'm reassured. I should have just said that in the first place. Considering that's what I thought it was. Right, so what can Tom Bryant do then? So he's got an 11.1 second lead. Will be very interesting to see what that's the lap times are for him compared to what Lawrence was setting. That's the other thing, because I like to drive bonnet cam because I'm a massive noob. I'm on controller as well. Once I'm on a wheel, I won't be. But yeah, you drive bonnet cam with the McLaren, you are basically licking the tarmac. You are very close to the ground. It's like, oh my god, the rest of you seem huge. Intimidating is not even the word. Hard to judge things as well, I'll tell you that for nothing. This could get interesting, I reckon. I think Szymanski is going to start closing up on Brian. Brian's going to have to... I mean, he's got a lot to live up to with the pace that Lawrence was setting. I'm sure he can do. Scott and Victor having some fun times in the mid-pack. Given as good as they're getting. You can actually see the leader just behind though, so he's going to come through shortly as one of them ditches it through the gravel. Little light flash to be like, hello lads, I'm coming through, out of my way please, or at the nearest opportunity at the very least. Fair play to Victor there, because he lifts and he knows full well, do that quickly. Scott will have to do the same. If just latch onto the back, he'll be fine. Szymanski will have that fun. Oh, hello. Someone's just gone off at the hairpin. Can I find the car quickly enough though? No, I can't. Flipping it, where is it? There it is. That was Chris Humphrey to get them going again. So Jamie Shaw's teammate, oh, not the best place to park it on the apex. Car behind was like, hello a minute, didn't see that one coming. Gets going again now. That's Ted Edwards in that Lambo. Got another AMG just in the behind, shoots it up the inside. Fair play, so let them go nicely. Not the easiest place, not the easiest track for sure to let them go like that, but doing it okay. So, Antoine. Even that's probably pronounced wrong, isn't it? It's probably Antoine. Or Antoine. Or oh, flipping it. I used to be quite good at French. Used to. Operative word. Past tense. So Harman 5-second gap to close up to Szymanski in second. Be interesting to see what transpires next 45 minutes. I think still a lot could change. The dynamic of a team event when you've got sure letting them go. Good stuff. I like that, seeing them coming from miles back and just let them go on a straight. Very good. It's the kind of sort of thing I do. It's like, yes, I'm losing time here probably. Could have probably carried on and done it here. Longer straight, lose less time, but fair enough. Made it easy for the car getting past. That's all you ask, really. The different pace of teammates does make events like this very interesting. Szymanski, you see, is closing that gap. Ferrari's already about 2 seconds closer than it was before Lawrence got out the car, what, 6.5, 7 minutes ago? I mean, Brian not setting bad times at all. But still, just a little bit closer, just a little bit. Just give a little bit of hope to the cars behind. So 9.5 seconds, 4.5 for Heilman to Szymanski, so that gap's closing. I wouldn't be surprised to see those three cars near each other again before the end of the race. So Brian just getting up the pace now. On his what, third or fourth lap out of the pits. Last lap was a 27.6. Szymanski did a 27.8. This was technically slightly faster. Harman has been on some a good pace the last couple of laps though. Has been closing in nicely. Hasn't seen Chumley much this race. How's he faring in the Aston Martin? 7.1 back off of Antoine. Oh, just got that just at the right time, haven't I? What's gone on there then? Let's have a look. So is there a contact, or has he lost it? Is there a contact? Yeah. So a bit unnecessary between the two of them, and it was well done by the car behind there, that other McLaren. There's been too many contacts, I think, between Savinsky and Vincent, really. It's just too many unnecessary bits of car on car. Just, I mean, that was easily avoidable. Wouldn't be surprised to see a penalty pop up there, but we'll see. Obviously, I didn't see the much. I've only seen that quick replay. It's an OTL racing car, but yeah, still subject to the rules as everyone else. If it was his fault, then it would be adjudicated so. It would be penalised, as would everybody. But we will see. Looked a little bit clumsy, like I said, just looked pretty avoidable. Just drove into the rear corner and round he went. Red card, yes, pretty much. I'd be a little bit surprised if that doesn't end up as a penalty, but we'll see. We will see. So 8.8 seconds for Szymanski to Bryan. Again, 4.9 from Harman to Szymanski. Those times roughly the same then as I saw maybe a few minutes ago, so they've stabilised. So we've got Juan Cares just behind Joshua Vanstone. So half a second between the two. The leading RAM cars on circuit. Ted Edwards with a 15-second penalty then. Car number 20, car number 27. So I think that's their second penalty of that length, isn't it? I know the earlier one was between them and car number 4, and it was them that got hurt. But this time, causing a collision between them themselves and car number 26, which is Chris Humphries. So that might have been the issue we saw at the hairpin slightly earlier. So I think Vincent, do what you can to that's Harman getting through, car in third. So yeah, Scott's been doing okay considering he's struggling with a few issues with tyre pressures, I believe. Also, we saw that issue with Victor earlier on. That's probably getting looked at the moment. But considering he's doing the race by himself, again, he's been out of the racing scene a fair bit the last sort of year and a bit. He's a very, very busy man. Oh, that's a tyre squeal that does not sound like a car with optimum grip. We're about to find out who that was. Is he going to get going again? Yeah, so the car's up ahead. There's that four-way battle, so let's go on board with that. That might find, so, that might have been, I think Victor, yeah, he's there at the front of this battle, just ahead of Vanstone. And then Perez as well. Yeah, I think people just going into corners slightly too fast and they get a little bit squirrely, a little bit sideways. You can see that squeal of tyre. Yeah, that car panicking, just trying to stop as quick as possible, and it's just not happening. But yeah, Bryan doing a good job up top, holding on to that position pretty nicely, it would seem. Oscar Saristo. In the number 97 AMG. Another driver we know has got decent pace, but how he'll be able to use it in the race all depends on those cars up ahead, really. He's got Chumley up ahead, but the gap's fairly decent. You can see, well, you say fairly decent. It's quite significant, isn't it? Look, you see Chumley's already coming down Craner curves, and Oscar's only just finishing his lap, I believe. Yeah, Oscar's just finishing his lap, so that's quite a chunky gap, that is. Got boy with Juni Rasmussen. And struggled a bit in this race today. But again, fair play has kept plodding along. It's doing what it's can. I'm not sure I've seen this car get any penalties either, so... Fair play have been doing their best and getting out of the way as and when necessary. Yeah, haven't had any incidents reported by this car, of this car yet. So clearly have been doing a good job of not impeding anyone. So despite their own troubles, they've been making sure to not impede anyone else, and that's always good to see. That's not always easy to do. I can say that as someone who isn't very quick. I'm okay-ish at tracks, I know. In cars, I'm not horrendous in. But if either of them things disappears, I'm all sorts of rubbish. I mean, sometimes I'm still rubbish no matter what, but you know, you get the gist. Shatilov, Team Puncture Tyre, still one of my favourite team names on the grid. Soldiering on still strongly as well. Not a simple livery job there, but again, quite like that. Quite like the orange tyres as well, actually. Nice little accent to the silver and light blue. Baz Shilstra in 15th. I think that was the Richard Evans car, so he takes it over. We've got Andy Behan, or Behan. I'll butcher it, and I'm just annoying enough people that, again, he tells me how to say it. So 7.7 back from Edwards, so Edwards with that time penalty will suffer, and you can see Savinsky has been given a 15-second time penalty. Oh, talking of which, I think that might be Savinsky that's on the... No, that wasn't. So who was that then? Interesting. So we saw a car definitely having a bit of a moment. And I wish this game was better at telling me who it was. It might have been Privy, you know. I think it might have been Privy. So a bit of a flash going on in the background, so that will be... I think that was Chumley coming through. There we are. On his way past that Ferrari, the number 4, that will be BN. He's there through nicely and gets out of the way. Good job. So just over 35 minutes left to go then. The gaps are coming down. So the lead gap now is 7.7 seconds. So lost about a second over the last couple of laps. So he's... The previous lap or so was not great. It was a 28.3 compared to a 27.5 from Szymanski. And there's a few tenths down on this lap as well. So I think this will be interesting to see how Bryant manages that pace as the tyres maybe go off. As he, you know, if he clatters a few curbs and does what everyone else is doing, which is losing all of the tyre pressure. Well, me pumped up tyres? Nah, that's overrated. Want deflated tyres, loads of grip. That's how it works, isn't it? You see Harman is only it's going up and down between 3.5 to 4 seconds. So none of them on their particularly best laps at the moment, but they are, as you can see, dealing with a hell of a lot of back markers. So that might be skewing it somewhat. It's like their team name as well, Billy and Stewie time. So a few of the team names don't quite make sense because a few of them have had to have teammates swapping in during the league. As I said, Foss was with Boothby at the start, but Szymanski racing for them today. No, so yeah, Savinsky will have to serve that 15-second penalty, which will drop him. Oh, good shot, maybe behind Prithvi. It's going to be a fair way. Can't really argue with that. We saw it on the replay on stream. It looked pretty clear cut. Just sort of drove into the rear corner of Vincent and sent him round, really. So there's not much you could. I don't think you could really argue with that. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff gone on that maybe has influenced his decision making, has got him a bit hot under the collar, a bit red faced and ragey, but. We'll see. So it's a difficult part of the race. You're going to have plenty of back marking. So it's just about how you manage that as well. If you're clever about when you try to get past them and don't hamper yourself by making too many desperate moves that maybe don't come off. Just want to wait until they let you go through and nice and cleanly and then shoot past. So Olive, sorry, crikey, we'll get there eventually. I've commentated on his name enough times, I should know. Oh, and there, ladies and gentlemen, is the rain. So, just in case it was going to be a bit too much of a procession, a bit too easy, to the end we now have a sprinkling of light rain, and that's going to continue between now and the end of the race. The track is optimum at the moment, but how quickly will that change? You see windscreen wipers have come on. So Muckley, you'll still be in it now, you'd be loving this. Get your armbands on, put your on your goggles and off you go. Be loving it. So yeah, got windscreen wipers on, not really good, it's not heavy. I wonder how much it's really going to affect the track condition. You can see it's already gone down the fast though, so quite quickly it would seem. So if we're going to see a mistake, it'll be soon. It'll be who deals with it the best, who makes those mistakes, who doesn't judge that condition change as well as others. Savinsky then has been lapped by Szymanski. Will we see anyone hop into the pits and go, sod this, I'm going on? The problem is you can only go on to wets, so it's like, is it tyres for wets yet? Absolutely not. Will it get that way? Well, if you'd have stayed in, Steve. No. You got to be in it to win it, sunshine, and you're not in it, so you couldn't win it. I mean, saying that, I'm going to be in a race later, and I'm still not going to win it, so it doesn't quite. It doesn't, you know, it comes down to more than that, unfortunately, when there's ability. The lottery, fine. Yeah, racing, not so much. Doesn't really work as a saying in this, does it? Well, a bit wide from by Savinsky then. No, but Szymanski driving quite well here. So that gap under 7 seconds. Bryant maybe losing a bit more time in the wet than the drivers behind him. Track already down to greasy. Pretty nasty feeling track that'll be. So gone from optimum down to greasy in the space of about 2.5 minutes. So how much longer will it take for it to go damp? Oh, that was interesting. A little bit of a squirrel out of the Fogger ES's. I think that was a bigger moment. I think that camera maybe undersold that. Let's go on board on chase cam. Well, that's a big car. Far chase, that's better. There's too much junk in the trunk for that close camera. Now, do you know what? Let's go full cockpit cam. Let's see. So what kind of a moment did he have then coming out of the S's? Whoa. Yep, that's brown trousers. Definitely a slightly darker shade of brown than they were at the start. So yes, I was wondering, I thought the camera we were on maybe didn't do that justice. And yeah, that's why he's now only 5.3, so the amount of momentum he lost there is huge. So we've got Bash, Shields, Chris Humphries and Rasmussen all into the pits. Interesting. Yeah, Humphries still moving. Oh, hello. Well, kind of moving. There he is. Finding his pit box. There we go. Yeah, having your pit box right in front of another car that's in the pits as well is an absolute pain in the bum. Absolutely horrible. But no, it's a good. Some people try to like hold it out and hold the pace too much in those sort of situations. It's in that scenario, just stop it, hit it, like just don't spin it. Frankly, or careful, or that'd be so easy to spin from there as well. Got to be careful. It's only 5.2 seconds ahead. This lead could disappear very quickly. This Ferrari is going to start closing up a little bit quickly, I think. Oh, well, that's not what I was expecting. There we go. So you can see then, that lead car in front, that gap is coming down at a rate of knots. All saying that, I thought he might be about to go round there. But Szymanski, no, does it well. Using all of the grip he's got. Yeah, I think those cars must be brave. I mean, I suppose the problem is, for noobs like myself, you can only do dry on slick weather conditions so much before you end up in a wall or something. So clearly they have 3.6 seconds. Oh, this is going to get interesting. So Szymanski posting up at an absolute rate of knots. Tom Bryant struggling with the conditions. Last lap was 32.0, 30.3 from Szymanski. So 1.7 seconds quicker. Next couple of laps are going to be vital, see if we can hold on. Oh, Scott Vincent's in the pit, so he's making a pit stop. Obviously he's not a mandatory driver swap because he's on his own today. But I'm assuming he's decided, sod this, I'm changing tyres. God, I hate this pit stop camera. There he is. What a reveal! Ta-da! That is a dirty-looking car. We've got Bean in the pits as well. Great camera, flipping it to do helicam. So there we go. So yeah, a few deciding they're not doing it anymore. They can't handle it. And I wonder if the leaders might do that shortly. It's only down to Greasy, but how long can Bryant hold on? It's like got the issue that Lando Norris had in Formula 1 earlier this season. Where was it? Sochi. It's if you pit, was the other team going to pit at any point? Because if not, you're going to lose hand over fist. But if he's, I mean, the amount of pace he's losing at the moment anyways, put it this way, the lap times have come down a considerable margin, like a long way from the dry time. They're about 5 seconds down now. So that last lap was a 32.2. Again, he lost a second to Szymanski, and there he is. Szymanski's just behind him. So like I said, I thought this might get a little bit tasty towards the end. You can see those cars slightly further back. They've got a little bit less to lose. You know, a little bit more to gain by risking something. Changing it on 2 wet tyres. We've probably had half the grid now come in. Probably changed to wets. I mean, how damp is the track? Not soaking, but it's getting, you know, it's getting fun enough that you have to be very, very careful. So it is greasy at the moment. It's so easy to lose it. Around here as well, around somewhere like Donington, there's so many points of this circuit where you could very easily ditch it. Just by not getting it dead straight before you hit the brakes, or, you know, it hitting a curb in a slightly funny way. It's so quick to go wrong. Szymanski, though, it's gone bored with him. How quick is he going to catch the leader? Pretty shortly, you would say. Next lap or two, the pace he's been catching, I think next lap he's going to be fighting for that lead. Bryant as well. With the back marker in front, which will hopefully see that the next car coming past is second place, and I think has done. Or will he do? Might be getting a flash from Szymanski, or will he be going wide here? Nope, hug the apex. We'll get in the way a little bit, but I don't think, frankly, it's going to make the biggest world of difference. We'll move over to the left though. Or will it? Not sure really. Should really be letting it go, and he will do. Probably should let it go a bit earlier. I'm never a big fan of this. It's like, yes, he can go up the inside, but just give him the line into the corner that he wants to take. There's no need for it to hamper him. But oh well, they're all alive. Yeah, probably go down. That's what I'm thinking. It's like, how long do you wait? Because I mean, the gap's 1.4 seconds now. He's lost like 8 or 9 seconds while it's been once the rain came out. So clearly their setup, either they had a really good wet setup and they risked using that, which would be a bit mad, in case it rained, or he's just very good in the wet, or Bryant is struggling. I mean, the Szymanski setting cracking times. He set 32.0 in the last lap in the wet. Heilemann 32.2. Everyone else is setting 33s and 34s, 35s. Everyone else. So hanging on like he has, very, very impressive. And now look at that gap. There is no gap. He's there. It's under a second. It's 8/10. Don't really think Bryant's going to be able to hold. Yeah, look at that difference in speed. It's, I think before, yeah, Szymanski's going to be the leader of this race within 2 or 3 corners, I think. You have to get defensive. So Bryant gets the car with an 11-second lead, but that car has no grip. Oh, it's going to be a bit of a bounce there. Hopefully not too much damage to the Bryant car. Just a little bit of understeer, I think, in the low grip levels that they have at the moment. Oh, there's going to be a little bit of car contact there, but hopefully it gets out of it just early enough that no one ends up spinning. So, a little bit of a little bit overly touchy for my liking, but Szymanski up into the lead, then Tom Bryant. So, will we be able to hang on, or will we see Szymanski now just disappear up the road? It does. As soon as the rain came out, I was like, right, well, that means you just get that variable that if one driver, I mean, he's lost. It's mad that Bryant was 11 seconds clear out of the pits. So, I mean, it was about 8.5 seconds when the rain came down. So the difference has been huge. It's happened in about 6 minutes. That 8 or 9 second lead is gone. It's like 5 laps, or someone didn't like the polystyrene there at McLean's. But yeah, who knows? Frankly, it says Savinsky and Perez are into the pits again, so they'll be serving. They won't be serving penalties. They'll just be getting new tyres, I think. Again, those mid-pack cars are going to be not chancing it as much. They're better just getting in, getting those new compounds on and not risking it. Oh, yeah, that's making it obvious, I suppose. Fair play. So the Aston moves over and lets him through. How are they doing at the moment? So that's Haskell up in 6th. So they've recovered quite nicely then. So that was Ian Hall qualified in 4th. They got dropped down after an incident, I believe. Didn't quite catch what the incident when it happened. Oh, Edwards with is that another 15-second penalty? Oh dearie, dearie me. It's not gone well for them. Car number, what are they, 27? Not Savinsky, let's Bryant through as well. Again, that lead already nearly up to 2 seconds. That's going to be expanding very, very quickly. But Szymanski driving beautifully here. This lead's only going to grow and grow. So I think Haskell will probably do right. He won't need to let Bryant go immediately because Bryant's going to have to catch him, and he's struggling in these conditions. You can see he's struggling to keep Savinsky behind him, and Savinsky is down in 13th. And he's going to try and unnap himself, which is a bit brave, but if he's got the pace, there's no point in trying to hold him behind, is there? Clearly that car's quicker, so they're struggling setup-wise. Oh, that looks like a death trap. To be honest, at the moment, he's going to try and hold that on in a podium position. Antoine Olive... Oh, flipping heck. Again, one day I'll get that name right. Antoine Olive. Just doubt yourself when you're trying to try it in public. It's just that very self-conscious. Now, Antoine, it is a long way, but he's losing quite a bit of time. Is Bryant? He's struggling clearly. At what point are they going to decide? Maybe wet tyres is the way to go now. Maybe I'm just putting a little bit too much risk into this. Volchowicz getting a bit touchy again with Haskell. Again, just needs to give people a bit more room. It's been a few too many times you've seen that car make contact with others. Don't know why it's flashing. It's like, well, I'm quicker than you. It's like, well, I'm in 6th, you're in 13th. Oh, don't, careful, Savinsky, unnecessary. Getting way too fighty. He's going to be finding himself. He'll be getting a penalty again soon if he keeps driving like this. And I think Haskell has every right to flash him there. I know he's got the pace. He's driving quite well in this weather. Great. He's on wets or something. Clearly, he's feeling pretty positive. But like, don't dive bomb people that are 8 positions ahead of you. Come on, leave it out. So. Yeah, a bit unnecessary. Hopefully not much damage or any damage for Haskell. So Bryant, 4.7. Szymanski's disappeared off the road. Harman now 3.4 back. So it's the fight for 3rd. Can Harman push on? I think you'd have to say your bet would be that Harman is going to catch him probably comfortably before the end of the race. Haskell taking a very wide line. Let's have a look at that again. It looked like I was like, I wonder where he's off to. The shops. Is it somewhere else? The airport, I think. Crikey. But the fair play, well held. Didn't disappear off too far. So again, so what's Harman seeing then? How far back? 2.3 the last lap. Let's go on board with him. See. There we go. See Bryant just doing old hairpin. So yeah, clearly just struggling. That car is not set up nice in these conditions. I'd imagine that even if Martin was still in the car, if Lawrence had still been driving, then I don't think he'd have found it a million times easier. Bryant was setting some decent lap times when he came out of the pits once it got settled. You can see, look at that, nearly in the same camera shot already then. It's not a track you really want to drive around in a car that isn't feeling good in the weather conditions. So you haven't seen really any of those near front runners risk it going on to wets, but at some point they might have to. Still got 20 minutes of this. So under 20 minutes to go then. Still might see some change at the top of the order. I think Szymanski is pretty safe now though. That car has been nicely suited to the way either way, hasn't it? Like we said with the big brain strategy course. Let's go. Well, yeah, I mean, let's go on board. Hang on. 97. There we go. Decent driving as well for Roger. Unlucky with the I think I caught you have a little bit of a spin, but you were driving nicely, man. You were closing up well. So unlucky that you didn't push even further forward. Oscar doing pretty well though. 12 seconds back from Haskell. So are you guys on wets at this point? You risking it? So there's not many in that top. I don't think any in that top 7 or 8 have particularly decided to risk it. Chumley, right up the back of Antoine Olive though. The 252 and the 253. Yeah, both 2S cars. So 2 of them in the top 5 doing very nicely, pumped up drives. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, nice, well done. If it's working, it's working. Yeah, you're comfortably what 1:31.0 last lap. So you're Szymanski did a 31.6 with a 31.9 he's just set, and you're about to do a 31.0. So you guys are driving very nicely. That's good. But that's what it's about sometimes, isn't it? You got to use your noggin. It's what's in that head of yours as much as how you drive. So that's clever. Yeah, it's not wet enough. You can't. I mean, risking it. You're probably quite quick on wets, but like. Is it necessary for them yet? It's not exactly a soaked track, is it? So, yeah, pumped up your dries, and clearly it's working very, very nicely. Was that last lap a 30.9? So, yeah, fastest car on track at the moment quite comfortably, I think. Oh man, just a second back from Bryant. Bryant holding on for all that he can. But he's still losing just too much time per lap. He won't be able to hold on to this. So if we get the rain stopping before the race, it's only going to stop very briefly before the race. So that's going to make much difference. Well, fair play though. Oh, and there we go. Off Bryant goes. It's an easy pass. Poor fella's really struggling. Heart bleeds for him, to be honest, because he's driving pretty well until the weather changed, and it's handled like a bag of spanners. The fair play though, that's exactly, you know, again, you tried it in quali, it's fair play. You gave it a go and went like, well, if this happens in the race, we know if it works. No, well done, man. That's good stuff. It's that's what all this is about sometimes, these kind of events, isn't it? It's those potential situations and having them covered with like ideas and trying them in practice, going in a practice lobby and seeing it's wet and going, right, let's try this, see if what those lap times are compared to, you know, on wets, overinflated dries, see what they're like. And then you get to the race and the situation suddenly happens and you guys have done the research and fair play, and hopefully you reap rewards from it. You're 5.8 seconds back from Haskell at the moment, but I wonder how long that's going to last. You're quite a lot quicker than them, so I don't think that's going to take very long for you to overtake, judging by the timing screens. Well, 5.4. And where is Haskell? Haskell just up the road, so yeah, you're catching nicely. That's got a poor lap last lap though. They're set at 35.5. I don't think that's their actual pace. And Antoine having to defend from one of his 2S teammates. Chumley. Got up to him a couple of laps ago, hasn't made a move as of yet, hasn't got close enough to really think about it either. Again, I will still repeat this, fair play to the chaps at the bottom, 4, 6 and 8 laps down. You know, they are, it's very easy to go, I'll sod this and sack it off and disappear, but like fair play, they've kept going. Like that demands an enormous amount of respect, because again, a lot of drivers just go sod this and they disappear. But the respect, a lot of teams that, you know, drivers that respect people that are putting on events and the time and effort it takes and whatnot, and we respect that hugely. When you're having an absolutely pants race, it's all gone a bit wrong, but you soldier on regardless. Like massive kudos to them. So fair play to Shatilov, Shaw and Rasmussen, who are not having the best of times, but they're soldiering on. Got Shilster as well, 3 laps down. Another one. Getting those things home, hopefully. Fingers crossed for them. So these two are battling out nicely. Nothing really... They're not getting close enough so that Chumley can actually make a move. It says half a second. It sounds very close. In reality, it's not really got down to the 2 tenths, 3 tenths where maybe Chumley would think of a move. So Antoine is just driving this thing nicely. Chumley, there's a nice old hairpin there though. I think Antoine might start getting a bit defensive soon. Might have to start taking quite narrow lines through a few of these next corners. Any mistakes here and Chumley will be straight through. But again, driving nicely, consistent. Has that thing stuck to the floor. And he's pretty good at that McLean's and Coppice sector as well. You can see he just pulls away a few tenths again on that Aston. So really good driving from Antoine. See if he can hold on for long. Tom Bryan, I think Heilman maybe... Yeah, had a poor lap, did Benjamin just ahead of him. You can see the Porsche. And a 34.2 to a 33.5, so closed up a fair bit. Let's go back on board with... I've missed the move, typical. So Oscar Oscar Saristo has made his move past James Haskell then. Great strats from them, well done to yourself and Vlodger, well done. That's superb driving. Ben Morland, thank you very much for the follow. Sorry about the slight delay in saying your name. My eyes aren't that rubbish, but one of my screens is a bit pants, so I leaned in to double check that I was going to say your surname correctly. Cheers for the follow, much appreciated. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a good weekend. Yeah, much appreciated. So Saristo, yeah, as I said, getting past Haskell to the number 97. Been rewarded for that strategy, that call. To stay on the dries, but just chuck a bit more air in them than maybe they needed. And yeah, in the wet weather, they are quite comfortably, most laps, the fastest car on circuit. Szymanski's been pretty solid. He's still pumping in cracking times at the front. Well, yeah, but it's still good. Well, no, it's good driving to do that bit. It just would have been better had you not done the rubbish driving earlier. As long as you're spreading the mistakes evenly, then it's teamwork, isn't it, in a weird way? Just negative teamwork. Oh man, I know how that feels as well, dear oh dear. I know how it feels to be the rubbish one, put it that way. I'm the rubbish one when I'm the only one on the team. Oh, that Porsche having a bit of a nightmare. There's that Shatilov, I think he'll let them through. Good stuff, lovely job. But yeah, no, as I said earlier, Roger, yeah, I think I sort of caught one spin, and yeah, apart from those couple of mistakes, you'd be right amongst it. You'd be right amongst it. You'd probably be in around the 3rd and 4th sort of fight at the moment, I think. Not 3rd and 4th. You'd be around. Well, I don't know. There's quite a big gap at the moment from 3rd to 4th. You'd sit somewhere in there, I think. But that call you made, still, you know, it's rescued the race for you a bit, and I think you've done pretty well considering. Let's see if Vincent needs to find anyone. No, on his own at the moment. He's got Joshua Vanston just behind him. But on for a top 10 potentially, but that will then get the time penalty for driving solo, as will Prithee. But the closest battles at the moment, probably the guys we've already watching. Chumley just cannot make his way past. There's a big old Bentley boy in front of him, and he cannot make his way through. So I think about it. Nope, not happening. Definitely don't punt your teammate. Careful, careful. Yeah, easy on the throttle. You can see he just wanted to get his foot down, but didn't want to go too early. Otherwise, he would have been punting his teammate, and that's never worth it. Not yellow flag just up the road. Who's that that's gone off? I wish the game would tell us that earlier. It's clearly a decent size off because it was a yellow flag for quite some time. think it might be Shilstra soon. Just getting going again, but quite a long way down on that lap. Haskell as well, not had a good lap. 5 seconds down on their best lap time, so I think they've had a moment. Might have been them as well. A few cars, I'm sure, having sketchy moments at the moment. I've said moment enough. I think I might have to say moment a couple more times, but not in the moment. Oh, that sounds like a car not taking the optimum line. Oh, dearie, poor fella. Where is he? Is that Shatilov? He is. That's a nice place to rejoin. Gets it round, gets his foot down, out of the way. Fair play. Good rejoin. I have to say, from what I've seen, those back markers, a lot of them doing quite well, getting out of the way exactly when they should do, being really studious. Note they can see when the people behind are getting close, and then they try and work out where's the best place to move across and not happening too much. It's not the easiest circuit to do that, so as I said, fair play to them. Kudos. That sort of racecraft I love seeing that kind of thing, because there's a lot of people that don't have it, so it makes your heart all warm and fuzzy when you see it. So just 7.5 minutes to go then of the 2 hours. Been some cracking racing. Small grid, only one car that's pulled out so far, Mr. Muckley. What do I not have? What? I don't have what? What? What do I not have? I can't remember what I said. I mean, I don't debate. I probably haven't got it, whatever it is. Oh, racecraft. Oh, that's harsh. I know I have racecraft. I've just got no ability. My racecraft's alright. It's decent. I'm just not very. I'm just a bit rubbish. I'm just quite slow. That's different. It's all the abuse I get. It's supposed to be supportive and nice and help me feel better about myself. But no. It's not nice, is it? Yeah. Yeah, but we enjoy ourselves, Muckley. That's all that matters. Well, kind of. It's mostly what matters. I wouldn't mind being decent half, like here and there. But hey ho, we can't all be quick, can we? Wow, you found that quick. That was a long time ago. May I point out that was a really long time ago. Notice how there aren't like 15 clips. There's just the one. There's a reason for that. It's because I don't go around pounding everybody. Absolute charming, isn't it? Can't get the staff. You've no idea how quickly he clipped that up, by the way. That clip was done within minutes of me doing it. No, Project Cars on the Xbox back. I mean, that's a long time ago. That clip. That's a really, really long time ago. I mean, I was crap then as well. I'm crap now, but you get the gist. But no, that was Project Cars 2 on Xbox. I believe I punted Hydro Mantis. What's his name? Logan Farrow. If you've seen any of our ACC stuff, is his name? It was only a little murder. I waited and let him pass. Another sound of someone driving it straight through the gravel. So, this is quite easily the closest gap on track at the moment. Szymanski having a solid lead. Don't see that really closing up of about 16 seconds. Yeah, 15.8 seconds, Brian. About 8 seconds back now. And these two, though, fighting for that 4th spot. And Antoine doing a great job. It was a superb job of holding Chumley off. Just Samuel not really had a sniff, really. He's got close at the couple of the hairpins. No, I know it's not, poor fella. That car's handling like a... yeah. Like a really bad car in the wet. No, poor fella's not having a good time. But he's been doing what he can to get out of people's way from what I see. And he's soldiering on wants to finish. Commend that. Bless him. I won't go back to it. I won't put the camera on there. That's not fair. I don't want to see them all spit. You know, they're not having a nice time. But they want to get to the end. But yeah, I did wait. I didn't know I'd hit him, to be fair. I wasn't 100% sure, I don't think, if I'd clipped him and sent him round, or because I was like, I think I hit him. I didn't like pole drive it straight up the back of him, for example. I think I looked at like the stream chat at just the wrong time. I think that's why that crash happened, just for context. Not that that makes it any better, probably makes it worse. But you get, you know, just being open and transparent with you. But yeah, I don't do it that often. OTL's been going for like 4 years. I've only had like 5 or 6 crashes. Not with the people I wanted to crash with either. That's a shame. I haven't had a chance to like properly punch sharp in a race. You know, it's like, oh, that'd be like, it'd be slightly funny, kind of funny in a way, because at least it was him that I did it to. But such is life. He's a bit too fast for me. So Szymanski, just the next 2 laps to go, driving superbly. Bas Schielstra in front. I don't think Szymanski has to be too impatient as well. He can just wait, breeze past him when the opportunity arises. Schielstra will stay nice on the left. Szymanski's got all the time in the world. I said 16 seconds. As long as he doesn't do anything stupid, get too impatient, get caught up in anything, this race win should be theirs. Benjamin Harmon, that Porsche has had a solid race, was in 3rd for a lot of that opening stint. Just couldn't quite match Lawrence and Samir Foch. But it's done pretty well. Or well, again, fair play to that number 40. It's doing the right thing. It's the intercar coming. It gets well out of the way. Doesn't impede it at all. So absolutely fair play. I literally haven't seen him do a bad blue flag yet. I'm sure he might have, but for everything I've seen him do has been spot on. Oh dear, yeah, that car is handling really not nice, is it? Come on, Vlad, you can do it. I believe in you. I'm rooting for you. Rooting for what? I don't know. Just to finish, I'd imagine, but I'm rooting for you nonetheless. So that is the. There's a number 97 just behind him, I believe. So an lap or 2 down, but it's got great pace. Might end up having to get past. That's Tom Bryant. So the last lap was a lot quicker from Saristo. If Tom Bryant's smart here, just lets that car go. Just let the AMG get ahead in front. Oh, car off at the gravel trap. I wonder who that is. Will we see them? No, we won't. I think, was that Shatidov again? It was. Poor fellow. Right, let's get off him quickly. Let's not spare his blushes. So just over a minute left then. This is probably the main fight on circuit. We've got Vincent actually as well though. Let's quickly go on board with Vincent. Oh, hello. Nice and close to the back of Joshua Vansten, but Vansten goes wide. McLaren side by side. Evil Child 0323. Thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated. Scott deaded. He did a dead. Oh, it's all going so well. Right, man. Neither is on the final lap. Give it all you can. Szymanski then, final lap, as you may have heard. Well, shame for Scott to ditch it, but there we go. Still going, hopefully for a top 10, but Joshua is going to make him fight for it. Chumley and Antoine, what's going to happen here then? Is Antoine going to be able to hold him off? Is Chumley going to go for a move in the final lap or 2? Well, this might be his opportunity. Yeah, just not the line that Bentley really wanted to take through that corner, and Sam has been waiting about 45 minutes for that chance. And he's now got to make sure he doesn't give it up. And all of a sudden, he's gone from attacking, or at least trying to attack for most of an hour, to suddenly going, oh crap, I've got to defend for the next, what, a minute and a half. This is going to be hard, and Antoine's got decent pace. That's why he's kept Sam behind him for so long. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle as he puts his foot down. So Szymanski's not got much of a lap to go. We'll stay on board and then we'll go back to these guys. So I will go back to them in a second, Christian. Just want to make sure I watch the leader across the line, because Gould only knows the amount of times I've missed that. But they've been fighting each other for ages. Come on in. Come on, Szymanski. I want to see you follow across the line. Then I need to go back to that fight. They're going to do... Oh, don't say that. They're probably on their roof now, aren't they? 1.5. Oh. Chubbly. Strong moment. Oh, dear. No, sod that. Right, well done to the number 888 car. What a superb drive, Foch and Szymanski. Absolutely superb driving from start to finish. Had great pace and made the most of it, especially when the rain started to come down. Harmon as well will come over the line. Final corner, try not to use it into a back marker and just about voids it. We'll get it over the line in second spot. Well done. We'll go back on board with Chumley and Olivier. You can see there, pulled off into the distance, hasn't he? Are you not having a go at my streaming skills? I mean, fair enough if you are. A strong moment. Is that the is what one was that? I think I know what you're on about, but yeah, Olive done superbly well. Obviously, there's been a little collision on the last lap or so, having a good battle amongst themselves, but no one died. No one died. Great drive from both of them. So Anton will bring it home in fourth. Oh, hello, interesting back marker. Is that Victor Savinsky? Is he finished? No, he hasn't. What's he doing? Why is he rolling it over the line in reverse? Yeah, good. Well, I don't think he can spend his time wasting elsewhere then if he wants to drive like that. Moron. Anyways, I'd love to know why he did that, because if he's not got a bloody good excuse, he can sod off, quite frankly. Yeah. But what a great drive. Some great fighting that first hour between those top three. So close. Just unfortunate for Bryant, just quite couldn't really hold that pace, and especially once the rain started to come down. There's nothing he could do about it. So that pace just sort of tailed off a cliff, really. Ended up finishing nearly 30 seconds back out from the lead car. 13 seconds behind second position. But still with the podium. They did enough in that first stint to not really be catchable by the guys in fourth and fifth, Antoine and Samuel. Both the two S cars driving very, very nicely. Well done on them, the top five. Saristo and Volodya as well. Great drive, apart from the 40 seconds of mistakes between the two of them, as he said. I think could have pushed themselves a bit further forward. Whether they'd have caught that fight ahead, I do not know, but was close as well. Ian Hall and Haskell, another one. Caught up in something early on. Qualified in fourth, were in a great spot. Of the drifting going on in the background, by the way, by Szymanski. Top stuff. Yeah, Haskell and Hall, great drive as well. Edwards and Roberts, fair share penalties and whatnot, but still, top 10, nice finish. Pretty as well, coming home in ninth, so be pretty happy with that. Drove on his own today, so I think that's after the penalty. He still finishes in ninth. Fanston finishes in 10th in the end, so where does Scott end up? It ends in 13th. Scott Vincent, obviously driven on his own, so yeah, ended up a bit down the order after that 130-second penalty was applied. But some thoroughly good racing today. Really great to watch. So that battle at the front was absolutely superb. You do have to say it was pretty enthralling to watch. And watch as all the cars. Oh, hello. That was not what I intended to do. There they are, cars. Way. Oh Jesus, that's an awful camera. Oh, I've got to do it again. Oh, way. Anyways. I'm going to have to shoot off pretty quickly. Anyway, so yeah, it was great fun to watch. A little bit of weather for that last sort of 30-40 minutes just to spice it up a little bit, make it interesting. Scott's still in the pits. Yeah, there he is. He's in the camera. The camera changes as well. Oh, for flip's sake. Right, there we go. So we're going to get some... just to make sure we don't all go deaf. I'll mute that. So yeah, it's great racing. That battle at the front... all the way through the race was enthralling. It was touch and go to see who was actually going to end up getting in front and driving away. Once Lawrence got that lead in that first stint, he made very, very good on it, and yeah, it was hard to catch. But unfortunately, Brian just couldn't quite handle the wet weather. Obviously, that car was not quite set up for that kind of inclement conditions, that greasy track, and just struggled. But got it home. Got it home on the podium still, so we'll still be fairly happy with that. Cheers, Superford. Hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, it was a cracking watch. A fair play to everybody that finished. I think all but obviously Savinsky got disqualified at the end for driving backwards over the line. I want to know why he's done that. And Muckley did not finish, but I think everyone else got to the line. So fair play to them for doing so. Scott, give us a flash. I mean, the lights are probably rubbish, but they are terrible lights. So yeah, but thoroughly enjoyed that. I couldn't make the rest of them this season, but that was a cracker to watch. So cheers everyone for joining me, new follows and commenters alike, much appreciated. Been awesome to spend my afternoon with you all. So yeah, next race will be Tuesday night. That is, let's find out the circuit before I get that one completely wrong and look like a bit of a spanner, or more of a spanner than I usually look at the very least. Yeah, so Tuesday night. Where are we now? We are at, oh yes, last day of October, isn't it? November the 1st tomorrow. Oh, how time flies. Christmas very shortly. Last round of the Rookie Championship then. So that is from Barcelona. Was due to be at Bathurst. We've changed it because last week was Carnage and there's no way on earth we're letting them do that round Bathurst. So yeah, that's at Catalonia on Tuesday for the final round of season number 3 of our Rookie League. And then we are back on Thursday at 8 p.m. GMT, usual time, at Misano for round number 3 of season number 9 of our GT3 League. So yeah, the 75-minute races on Thursday as well, so it's good fun. You see a lot of very high quality driving there, so do join me for that. Should be good. So anyways, yes, on that note, I have to shoot, so love you and leave you. So cheers for watching, all the new follows, as I said, all the new comments, much appreciated, and thanks for your time this evening. I will hopefully catch you on Tuesday or Thursday this coming week. Until then, stay safe, take care, and I will catch you all next time.